Real Madrid had a golden ticket to pull 3 points clear at the top of La Liga, but they ripped it up in dramatic fashion, falling 2-1 to a fired-up Real Betis at the Benito Villamarin. This match had it all. A former Madridista coming back to bite them, a Premier League loanee making a name for himself, and, shockingly, a Madrid side that looked flat when it mattered most. Let's dive into what went down in Seville, because this result could shake up the title race in a big way. Madrid knew the stakes: win, and they'd put daylight between themselves, Barcelona, and Atletico. And they came out looking like they meant business. Just 10 minutes in, Kylian Mbappe, who's been on fire with 16 goal involvements in his last 12 games, turned smartly on the edge of the box and threaded a perfect ball to Ferland Mendy. The left back kept his cool, squared it across goal, and Brahim Diaz had the easiest job in the world: tap it home. Dream start for Los Blancos. But here's where things get spicy. Instead of pressing for a second, Madrid eased up. Maybe they were already thinking about Tuesday's Champions League showdown with Atletico. Whatever the case, they let Betis settle, and Manuel Pellegrini's side started to smell blood. The equalizer came in the 34th minute, and let's be honest, Madrid's defending was downright embarrassing. American midfielder Johnny Cardoso found himself completely unmarked just a couple of yards from goal, as if Los Blancos had forgotten he existed. His header was strong, right at Courtois, but the Belgian couldn't keep it out. A gift for Betis, but one they absolutely deserved after wrestling control of the game. And pulling the strings in midfield? None other than Isco, the former Madrid magician turned Betis talisman. There's something special about seeing players go up against their old clubs, and Isco was writing his own script. Fast forward 9 minutes into the second half, and Betis hit Madrid where it hurts, on the counter. Jesus Rodriguez, the 19-year-old live wire, charged into the box and got himself between the ball and Antonio Rudiger. The German, usually a rock at the back, got it all wrong and bundled him over. Stonewall penalty. Up stepped Isco, cool as you like, placing his shot into the bottom left corner. Courtois guessed right, but it didn't matter. 2-1 Betis, and the Villamarin was absolutely bouncing. Now, let's talk about Antony. Yes, that Antony, the Manchester United loanee who's been tearing it up since landing in Seville. Last weekend, he saw red against Getafe, but Betis won their appeal, and wow, did that decision pay off. The Brazilian was electric again, bringing his tally to 5 goal involvements in as many games. A revival? More like a resurrection. United fans must be watching in disbelief. Meanwhile, Madrid? No response, no urgency, no spark. For all their attacking firepower, Mbappe, Vinicius, Rodrigo, they barely laid a glove on Betis after falling behind. Ancelotti, in a bold move, pulled Mbappe for Endrick with 15 minutes to go, but even the teenage prodigy couldn't rescue them. The clock ran down, the final whistle blew, and Madrid walked off stunned. Betis, on the other hand, had just blown the title race wide open. So what does this mean for the La Liga title race? Well, Madrid had the chance to take control at the top, but instead they might be looking up at both Barcelona and Atletico by Sunday night. Right now they sit second, level on points with Barca but behind on goal difference, and just 1 point ahead of Atleti. With both rivals still to play this weekend, Madrid could be staring at third place and a 3-point gap to the top before they even kick a ball again. That's a brutal swing from the lead they could have built today. And here's the real gut punch. Madrid have won just once in their last 5 league games. That's not title-winning form. That's title-throwing-away form. You have to wonder if their focus has shifted toward the Champions League, with the first leg of that blockbuster Madrid derby against Atletico looming on Tuesday. But let's take a moment to appreciate Betis and Manuel Pellegrini. That's 3 straight league wins now, lifting them to 6th and right into the European spots. Pellegrini has them playing with swagger, solid at the back, creative through the midfield, with Isco pulling the strings like a maestro, and lethal on the counter with Antony and Rodriguez wreaking havoc on the wings. A few individual performances stood out. Courtois made an outrageous save just before halftime, somehow diving low to his right to tip a deflected Cardoso header over the bar. Pure reflex magic. And at the other end, Marc Bartra put on a defensive masterclass, none bigger than his perfectly timed sliding challenge on Vinicius in the box. 1 millisecond off and it's a penalty, but Bartra got it spot on. High stakes, high reward defending at its finest. Madrid's title hopes just took a serious hit, while Betis are flying. La Liga is heating up, and this race is far from over. For Madrid, it's time for some soul-searching. No doubt about it, they missed Jude Bellingham. Serving the second of his 2-game suspension, the Englishman's drive from midfield and knack for arriving late in the box have been key to Madrid's attacking rhythm this season. The silver lining, he'll be back just in time for that huge Champions League clash with Atletico. Injuries haven't helped either. Militao, Carvajal, Ceballos, and Valverde were all unavailable, which is a tough hand to be dealt. But let's be real. With the squad depth Madrid have, you'd still expect them to show more fight. And the difference in emotions at full time said it all. Betis players celebrating like they just won a trophy. Madrid heads down, trudging off the pitch, shell-shocked. The home fans were in full party mode, and why not? Beating the European champions is one thing. Beating them when they're scrapping for the league title. That's the kind of win you remember. So what's next? Madrid have a quick turnaround. They host Rayo Vallecano next weekend in La Liga. But first, all eyes shift to Tuesday's Champions League derby against Atletico. A fresh start, a chance to shake off this disappointment, and maybe, just maybe, another deep European run to salvage their season. As for Betis, their momentum keeps rolling. They've got Guimarães midweek in the UEFA Conference League before returning to La Liga action against Las Palmas. With Isco running the show and Antony looking like the player United thought they were getting from Ajax, Pellegrini's side is oozing confidence. And the title race? It's as tight as ever. Barcelona host Real Sociedad tomorrow, knowing a win puts them 3 points clear. Atletico, meanwhile, have a tricky one against Athletic Club today. By the time the dust settles, Madrid could find themselves staring up at both rivals. One last thought. La Liga this season? Absolute chaos. We always talk about the Premier League's unpredictability, but Spain's top flight is delivering drama week after week. 3 teams separated by a single point, so-called smaller clubs refusing to back down, and title contenders slipping when it matters most. Madrid had a golden chance to take control of the league, and they let it slip. Meanwhile, Betis are riding high, Isco gets his sweet revenge, and Antony reminds everyone why United splashed all that cash on him. Football, man. Just when you think you've got it all figured out, it hits you with another plot twist. That's why we love it, that's why we keep coming back, and that's why we'll do it all again next week. This has been Across the Pitch. Over and out.